Time for business here on the AM show. Now in Ghana, modernization of agriculture has only become lip service because successive governments have failed to show much commitment to the sector. Despite the existence of several institutions and arrangements to improve the fortunes of the sector, real benefits have still eluded the nation. Now about 400 million Ghana cedis is being lost to post-harvest losses alone. Let's get a better understanding of the statistics. Well, to help address the entrenched challenges of agriculture and to also prefer some solutions, Joybusiness in collaboration with Busy organized the maiden edition of the Agribusiness Forum at the Alisa Hotel in Accra Tuesday. Here are excerpts from the forum.
A number of stakeholders in the Agric sector were present at the Joybusiness Busy Talks to deliberate on key issues plaguing the sector. Deputy Minister for the Agric sector, Alhaji Alhassan Ahmed Yakubu, was the first to take the bite on the issues. He sought to quell the notion that the Agric sector is on a sharp decline His position was that the manufacturing sector is feeding on the Agric sector in a way that although production is high, it is not captured under Agric, but rather manufacturing.
It's true that the contribution of agriculture to the totality of GDP has been coming down of recent, and many people seem to be concerned and regard it as a negative. Unfortunately for us who are in the sector, we are extremely happy that we are contributing less, because it means that we are victims of our own success. Just to give a small example to illustrate the point, this country needs 1 million tons of maize to feed its population. For many, many years now, and around 500,000 metric tons to feed livestock and poultry. For many, many years now, we've been inching towards 2 million metric tons. Now, some of the 2 million tons is going into beer production. That means that we are contributing to beer production, but we will not be registered as, what do I call it? When you are doing the GDP calculations, what is going into the brewery will not be seen as an agricultural effort. It will be seen as either a manufacturing or an industrial effort. And that is the situation we find ourselves.
Another panelist from the Africa Center for Economic Transformation, Dr. Barb Boateng, impressed that the improvement of productivity in the agriculture sector would go a long way to reduce the impacts of poverty in the country. He also added that proper agro-processing can serve as a remedy for post-harvest losses.
For an economy to transform, we need to improve productivity in the two major productive sectors, which is agriculture and manufacturing. And then we have T, which is technological advancement, very important. And if you are able to improve productivity in agriculture, you will then be able to reduce poverty.
Pedigree's Salam Brantier impressed on stakeholders the need to see agriculture for how it contributes to the GDP and not just for what it puts on the table. He also advised the introduction of basic technology to be used to improve efficiency.
My thought process on how we see agriculture is not that it should be seen as producing just food crops that will put food on the table, but we should look at agriculture in terms of how much does it add to the GDP. Like he was saying, there has been a 100% increase in maize production. But what does it mean for the farmer if everybody is moving into the service sector? Agriculture has lost that productive edge that it once had, that made it such that it was a means of, not just livelihood or sustainability, but a means to an end where they can also assert themselves as living as the way they want to be. Is because we have divorced the concept of agriculture as something that should be something that should make people live their dreams, and then have made it something that's just, let's just put food on the table. What about concentrating some of the effort into other crops or other agricultural activity that will then generate much more income than just maize or yams or bananas or plantain?
The Council for Scientific and Industrial Research rep on the panel, Dr. Charles Toto, also encouraged financial institutions to lend more support to agribusinesses.
It comes back with support. If our financial institutions will support some of these young entrepreneurs. Under one of our projects, which we call the West African Agriculture Productivity Program, we have a clear-cut investors forum where these technology developed under the projects, and basically on root and tubers. We talk about yam, cassava, butter yam, cocoa yam, value-added products coming from all these crops. These technologies are spelled out to investors. Now the question is, who is there to support the investor to have that small agribusiness to start adding value at the point of production? This is where the challenge is. This is where we need support to push more into the agribusiness sector, and then we can say we have value-added product.
Agro Mindset's David Esiama also stressed on the need to make agro services available to farmers.
Well, it's about efficiencies, because the human factor has limits. I'll give you a good example. We went into a project to cultivate something, but then we didn't realize that there would be a prolonged harmattan. Anybody realized that it took about 3 to 4 months or 5 months to have rains? If we had had access to information that it wouldn't rain, we wouldn't embark on that project. We were looking at maybe good money because the rains delayed. If we had timely information, back in the UK, a farmer has access to the weather pattern for over 40 years, for over 80 years. And usually the pattern repeats itself every 35 years. So they can make some predictions. Although there's climate change, they can make some predictions and know what's happening.
From the conversations, it was clear that though the agric sector faces some challenges, agribusiness in developing enhanced value chains to produce the best of quality products cannot be underestimated.
So what did participants also think about the maiden edition of the Joybusiness Agribusiness Forum? Here are some views shared.
Well, all too soon, we had to draw the curtain down on the Joybusiness Busy Talks, where we focused on agriculture and how we can use this particular sector to transform the economy. Earlier on, we engaged some participants to pick their thoughts on this particular issue. Let's take a listen to them.
Currently, financing that goes to agriculture is just about 4% of the entire financing, and so we want to see how to double this within the next couple of years to about 8% of financing.
We produce with the intention that yes, we can sell. So if you produce and you cannot sell, who again would you attract into the same industry? Come into the poultry industry. We have about 95% of the chicken that we consume coming outside the country. So who are we going to attract to the poultry industry again? We're only producing about 5%. Like I said, we have discussed this over and over again, but we are still experiencing the same situation every day and every time.
What do you want government to do?
I want government to really exercise the political will to do that. So we need the political will of this country. The leaders must really express their willingness to get things done for us in the country.
The government itself has some policies that the industry players are not aware of. So if you could have more of these seminars and more of these events, people will be made aware of something that's happening, especially in technology, and how farmers can benefit from using technology in doing what they are doing. A lot of studies shows that if access to market price information, a farmer could increase his income by 9%. Right, so even in situations where farmers don't have direct access to this information and they live in a community where other farmers have access to technological information, all the other farmers benefit by way of getting better prices, identifying new markets, and also discovering new market opportunities that may be available to them.
So you heard them. Their very interesting thoughts on how we can transform this particular sector. Well, I know your thoughts are also out there, and the debate will go on. But I'll tell you to watch the space, because there'll be more coming in the Joybusiness Busy Talks as we engage and empower our listeners and our viewers on issues that affect them. This is George Yafe for Joybusiness.
And if you missed it, make sure you don't miss the next one. Business on the AM Show is on every Wednesday morning right here on the AM Show. Courtesy EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.